Hello students, I am making this video on limiting reagents based on, your request on certain topics in which you have got doubts, right? So this is limiting reagents, and limiting reagents topic is a subtopic of stoichiometry, right? Now when we talk about stoichiometry, what we understood was it is basically your application of mole concept, right? Okay, so it is your stoichiometry is what we understood that it is application of mole concept, right, on balanced chemical equations. Right, for example, if I write A2 plus say 2B2 reacts to give us two molecules of AB2. This is some hypothetical reaction, right? They might be solids, liquids, gases, they can be anything, right? So let us say all of them are gases, just a hypothetical scenario where all of them are say gases. Now by applying mole concept on this hypothetical reaction, what can we say? We can say simply 1 mole of A, right? 1 mole of A reacted with 2 moles of B to give us 2 moles of the molecule AB2. Now this is ideal scenario, right? By looking at the stoichiometric coefficients, we can talk about such kind of a scenario. Again, this is totally ideal, right? Now it is not necessary that every time you are going to get such ideal scenario. The real situation may be a little different from this. That is, A and B, what we see from this reaction is that A and B should be always in 1:2, right? So A and B should be always in 1:2 to carry on the reaction, and you get the output also as 2 moles. So everything should be like 1:2 is to 2, something like this, right? But it's not necessary that A and B will be always in the ideal amount. They may vary, right? So let us talk about such kind of a scenario. Say again that A, B and AB2 concept is what we are referring to. So you have say you have A2 plus 2B2 as we discussed, giving us 2AB2. Now as I said, ideal was 1 mole reacts with 2 moles, and you obtain 2 moles of product, right, in this given scenario. However, let us say given to us is not this. Given to us is is say 1 mole, but here it is say 2.4 moles, and you have been asked about this thing. Now look at this carefully. 1 mole of A2 will consume 2 moles of B2 in ideal scenario, but the amount given to you is not 2, rather it is 2.4. So from here we can say, when 1 mole of A2 combines 2 moles of B2, what is going to be left is, in addition to this, 0.4 moles of B2, right? So what we see, that initially is this condition, finally we are going to have 0 moles of A2 and zero point 0.4 moles of B2 remaining in the reaction mixture. In addition to, of course, 2 moles of AB2 will be also formed, but from the reactant side, this is something that we are going to get. So now from here it should be clear that this is exhausted, this is not left, right, while this part remains in excess. So now anything which gets exhausted before some of the other reactants, right? So right now here you have got two reactants. This is your reactant 1 and this is your reactant 2. So what we see, reactant 1 finishes while reactant 2 is still remaining behind, right? So therefore this is what we are referring to as limiting reagent. So anything that finishes earlier than expected is called limiting reagent. Why limiting reagent? It has limited the overall output. This is your limiting reagent. It has limited the overall output. That means AB2, formation of AB2 depends only on the limiting reagent and not the excess reagent, because in any case this extra 0.4 moles is not able to react with anything else and hence is unable to form any product AB2, right? I hope this is clear now. Anything that finishes earlier in a reaction is always termed as limiting reagent. Got it? Now let us try to do a simple example based on this. Let us say we have, we have been given so reaction is there of nitrogen gaseous state, hydrogen gaseous state, and it forms ammonia again in gaseous state, right? So suppose in question it is given to you 10 grams of ammonia and 5 grams of hydrogen is given to you. You have been asked how much ammonia is going to form. Now before trying to guess which one is going to be your limiting reagent, or is there any limiting reagent at all, let us first write the ideal equation. Always first write the ideal equation, right? So the ideal equation right now is 1 mole of nitrogen reacts with, when you are balancing it, it is 3 and it is 2. So 1 mole of nitrogen reacts with 3 moles of hydrogen, right? This is ideal, and ideally we obtain 2 moles of ammonia. 1 mole of nitrogen means 28 grams. 1 mole of nitrogen means 28 grams, and 3 moles of hydrogen means 3 into 2, that is 6 grams of hydrogen, right? And ideally we always get 34 grams of ammonia. This whole condition is what is ideal stoichiometric conditions, right? However, this is what is given to you. So in order to find this, let us not, I mean, presume which one is going to be your limiting reagent, right? Though you can still guess, but let us try to be mathematically correct, right? Now what we are going to do, we are going to, take any, choose any, choose either of the two, whether you take nitrogen or you take hydrogen, you take one of them, and let us presume for a moment that that is going to be our limiting reagent, right? So let us say we are pinpointing on hydrogen, right? Let us find out. Now if 6 grams of hydrogen, right, 6 grams of hydrogen is equivalent to, in reaction, equivalent to 28 grams of nitrogen, then given amount is 5 grams, so 5 grams of hydrogen should react with how many grams of nitrogen, right? The data is given to us, but still we are picking up like 5 grams and trying to find it on a pro rata basis how much of nitrogen it is going to need, right? So let us do that. Okay, so by applying the unitary method that we learned there, that is 5 grams of hydrogen is going to react with. So if 6 grams of hydrogen reacts with 28 grams, then obviously 1 gram of hydrogen, right, 1 gram of hydrogen, unitary method, is equivalent to how much? 28 by 6 grams of hydrogen. 28 by 6 grams of nitrogen. So 5 grams of hydrogen is then equivalent to 28 by 6 into 5, right? So quickly let us calculate this. This is approximately like 3, this is 14, so it's like 70 by 3, which will amount to 20, right? 23.3 grams. So what you see is 5 gram can react with 23.3 grams. However, this is not the case, right? This is not the case. What has been given to us? We have been given in the example, sorry, we have been given 10 grams of nitrogen. So 5 gram is capable of reacting with 5 grams of is capable of reacting with 23.3. So that means nitrogen is going to finish way earlier than hydrogen, right? So 5 gram can sustain 23.3 grams of nitrogen, but the given amount is not 23.3, rather it is 10 grams. So it clearly shows that your nitrogen is going to finish way earlier than hydrogen. So therefore, and under the given scenario, nitrogen becomes our limiting reagent. Any reagent, any reactant that finishes way earlier than the other reagents is supposed to be our limiting reagent, because now formation of ammonia, right, formation of ammonia is not going to depend on hydrogen, rather it is going to depend on nitrogen, right? So now we discover that your limiting reagent in this example is nitrogen, right? So as I said, formation of ammonia now depends not on hydrogen, rather on nitrogen. So what we see, we will go for that in next page. So what we have got, we need to find amount of ammonia formed, amount of ammonia formed, right? So now we'll take of nitrogen, help of nitrogen. So what did we see? We saw 28 grams of nitrogen leads to formation of 34 grams of ammonia. So if 28 grams of nitrogen can lead to formation of 34 grams of ammonia, then 10 grams of nitrogen which is given to us of nitrogen is equivalent to 34 by 28 into 10, right? So 34 by 28 into, I mean, in upon into 10 upon 28. So this, I'll use calculator, 340 divided by 28, so that is 12.44. so you can see that the amount is actually very less, 12.14 grams of ammonia is formed, right? So this is our limiting reagent. This is all, I mean, this is the amount of ammonia formed because of the limiting reagent. So I hope concept of limiting agent reagent is much clear to you now, right? So limiting reagent is the agent or the reactant that finishes off earlier than expected, and the final product always depends on limiting agent and not on the excess reagent, right? So thank you once again. I hope this is clear, right? Thanks for watching. Keep sending your other doubts too, right? Chalo.